Happy 100th episode, everybody.
What's up, guys?
Sorry you had to hear that.
Welcome back to Peakton Middle School. My name is Narwhal.
And for the 100th time, my name is Kyle.
And this is the big one hundo.
Wow.
This is a big deal.
We made it, unless something catastrophically bad has happened.
Yeah. Unless,
Because we're recording this in the future, or in the past.
In the past.
We're not recording
Unless Kyle or I or both of us disappear and get abducted and don't have the ability to post this episode, this will be our 100th episode going up on January 2nd of 2020.
Wow.
I remember
what do you think 2020 is like?
I don't like to get into politics, but I think it'll be a pretty crazy fucking year. But I think
decade.
You know, I'm always very optimistic going into the new year. A lot of people are like, oh, last year sucked. Why do you guys always say that the new year is going to be better? It's just going to suck like every other year.
Yeah, every single year, at the end of the year, there's always some viral tweet that's like, well, 2018 sucked. How is 2019 going to be? Or it's like something bad happens in the first week and it's like, 2020 is off to a nice start.
Yeah.
Waiting for those tweets to come out.
It's like, it's literally going to happen every year. There's always going to be people that make a New Year's resolution, don't stick to it. There's always going to be people that say it's going to be their year.
Going to be a lot of people in the gym in January. And then not a lot of people in February.
Yeah, and that's just how it is, and you just have to accept that. I don't make New Year's resolutions anymore because
I feel like I ever have.
I kind of did in high school at one point, but now I'm just like, if I want to do something, I just do it whenever I feel like it.
Yeah, why does it have to be a new year for you to do it? Why can't you just do it tomorrow?
Yeah,
or get today? In
college, I made I was inspired in like February, and so I made a February 12th resolution list. It literally was called my February 12th resolution list instead of like a New Year's.
Inspired on February 12th.
Yeah, and I was like, why should I wait to start it? I'll just start it now.
Yeah.
And
Valentine's Day is right around the corner. You're feeling lonely and bored.
Yeah. I needed to feel loved, so I made my. You know what?
Self-love.
Yeah, self-love is the most important love, guys.
Maybe we'll go out on a date on Valentine's Day.
I'd rather not. But
no, we'll probably be doing a podcast.
Dude, I went out to dinner with Anthony one time, and it was on it was on a homecoming night or something, and everybody thought we were gay. Everybody thought we were gay.
Did anyone say you guys are a beautiful couple?
No, but the waiter was like, "Oh, how are you gentlemen doing tonight? Can I get you guys some wine or something?" It was just and
you guys are holding hands.
It was
oh no, we're okay.
It was very suggestive that we were a couple.
Yeah,
but we weren't.
Well,
but anyways,
2020,
guys,
man.
This is exciting. Our 100th episode, this is going to be a different episode for sure.
Yeah.
We're mixing it up a lot here. This is going to be a longer episode. It's going to be very exciting. It's just a big deal. And I feel like the first year we missed one episode.
Early.
Very early, like our second week of doing it, because we didn't really know what we were doing. I got really sick. But other than that, we haven't missed a Monday or a Thursday since. And I don't know. We've worked really hard at this, and I know it doesn't seem like it's a lot of work. It seems like it's just us talking.
Which it is, but there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah, and it's really not easy. I think that if you've never done a podcast, I don't think people realize it's hard to just talk with no, what's it called?
Guidelines or
no,
pauses kind of?
Yeah, no pauses. Dead air. Dead air.
Sure, yeah.
That's a big thing I know in radio. When radio was big, they didn't want to have a lot of dead air because if there's 20 seconds of quiet and you don't know what to talk about and you're just then people get bored.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole skill set here, and I feel like we've got a lot better.
Oh, definitely.
I personally think the episodes have just became more enjoyable when we've become better hosts.
Yeah.
And can flow better and work off of each other better.
Well, it's more enjoyable for us because we're able to have a better conversation. So it's more fun for us, probably more fun for you guys.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you guys so much there are people that have literally listened to every single episode.
Yeah, thank you.
And there's quite a few of them because we hear from those people. So thank you all so much who have been supporting us. We wanted to do something pretty exciting today because we've got some messages sometimes where people are like, hey, I love your show. It's really fun, really funny, really different or whatever. And they're like, it's awesome, but I feel like I don't really know you guys personally that much outside of the podcast, which it's not that we don't talk about our personal lives. That's kind of what our show is based on is stuff that happens to us or that we experience. But
we haven't gone too far in depth about our backgrounds and everything like that.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of podcasts don't really need to go super in depth and give like a whole background story, like laying the background of who we are, because a lot of podcasts are based on like personalities that people already know.
Yeah.
But
we're nobodies.
So I thought what we could do today is each of us spend about an hour.
Well, we'll see how long it takes.
And explain our life story. So usually
21 years of life.
We've been around for a while, and yeah, actually, when a week from when this episode goes up, I will be 22.
Whoa.
So
see, I feel like every birthday now is pointless. It's like we can drink now. It's now what?
Yeah, now it's just getting closer to death.
Basically, every second is a second closer to dying. So,
what an optimistic view of life.
It's just the reality, man.
Yeah, no. So we just wanted to, I think, Kyle, do you want to go first?
Sure. Sure. I can go first.
Okay, so basically what we did is we each came up with some guiding questions to ask the other person. We didn't tell the person what the questions are, but the whole goal is for, by the end of this, you guys feel like you actually know us substantially better than you do now.
Yeah.
Because I want to go into season 3 of Peak to Middle School from episode 101 forward. I want you guys to feel like you actually know us substantially better on a more personal level.
Yeah.
I want you to I want you to feel like you can imagine what the inside of my armpit looks like.
I know what it looks like.
Yeah, see, you do.
You're right.
You know me.
Yeah.
But I want them.
And I've looked at it a lot of times.
Yeah. You just stare into my armpit
A lot of
bit,
different times.
and I want them to stare into my armpits.
Yeah, right. So do you want me to start going, or do you want me to like ask me questions?
I'll ask you a question, and then you can go and just go until you feel like not going, and then I'll ask you something else.
Okay.
All right? So we're just going to, wherever it takes you, okay?
Okay.
Kyle, what was your favorite hobby when you were little?
Oh, so we're skipping birth.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna skip until you like have a memory, until you like were able to remember things. That's the age that we're kind of starting this.
Okay.
At. So when you were like elementary schoolish, what were your favorite hobbies? What did you like to do?
What did I do for fun? This is like a hard question. I mean, I definitely a lot of I guess my favorite memories from when I was younger was like just playing neighborhood games outside. Like I lived in kind of a cul-de-sac, and I had a bunch of neighbors that were around my age. So we would just play like cops and robbers. We'd play capture the flag. We'd play football. We'd play kickball, like kick the can. We had a game called Bloody Murder or Bloody Skunk, which was like it was at nighttime, and then one person hides, and then you like look for the person. If you see them, you have to like scream bloody murder and then try to get to the garage in time. All the neighbors hated it.
Yeah, looking back on it, that must have been kind of like weird. It's dark at nighttime and you just hear us kids scream like bloody murder.
Yeah. The neighbors used to kind of yell at us for that, and they would get mad. There was one guy that always got mad for us running through his garden.
I feel like the most memories I have as a kid are at your house because we lived over there.
Yeah.
We spent so much time outside just playing games, which looking back or looking at the kids nowadays, I wonder if we would spend less time outside with like Fortnite now and like.
Yeah, honestly, probably.
Which is sad.
Yeah, but I'm glad of like the era that we grew up in where we were just starting to get phones. Like I didn't get my first phone until 6th grade, but it was like the kind of the phone that you can like you can't do much on it. You just kind of can text people, but we were like we didn't just watch TV. We would go outside and play games. Do things outside. Even if it was raining or whatever, like one of our favorite things to do was to just get as wet as possible. Like we would just like shake all the trees on us.
Wait,
get
really?
Wet. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
It was like me
you
and
and your sister?
No, me and H used to do it.
Oh.
And like I think Jordan sometimes. If you guys know Jordan from our podcast, he's been on here. He was replacing me while I was gone or while I was sick. I don't know why I said sick.
When you were in the hospital.
While I was in the hospital. He grew up right next door to me, so I've been like good friends with him since like 3rd grade.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we also used to, you know how like in It, where at the beginning of the movie the kids got the little boat in the little gutter.
Yeah.
We used to always do that. We'd go to the top of our hill and then put like a airsoft pellet or like a leaf in the gutter, and we'd have races to see who gets to the drain first, whose leaf gets to the drain first.
Wait, so
me and H would go to the top of the hill, and it's raining, and there's like water rushing through the gutter.
How far away is the drain?
It was like in front of Jordan's house, and we go up to the
so
mailboxes.
you go all the way down the hill.
Yeah, we would
like
just be running down next to it, like go, 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 go.
Dude, that's
fun.
dope.
Like I would do it now and like bet on it. It's fun.
That's the thing. We've talked about this before, but I feel like a lot of people get to an age where playing games aren't fun anymore, kind of. Or a lot of people only like to do certain games if it's like at a bar, or if they're all drunk, or like, I don't know. Our whole friend group, we just love any sort of game to this day.
Anything that you can bet on kind of thing, or like you have a punishment if you lose. That's a big thing for our friends, which I might talk about later when I get to like my high school days.
Yeah.
A lot of like punishments.
Yeah. Okay. So would you categorize like your favorite hobby growing up, just like
Probably
neighborhood games?
Playing outside, any sports, honestly. Like from a young age, I just loved baseball, basketball, and football. I like played baseball since like kindergarten, and then played basketball in like kindergarten.
Yeah.
All the way through like 8th grade.
Why do you think baseball took precedent over basketball or football?
Well, I played football I played soccer and through 4th grade, and my dad said that like apparently I was a god at soccer, and that he thought I was gonna pick soccer, which I'm kind of glad I didn't. I'm not a big soccer guy.
But you're not.
But I could have. You're right. I
could play it.
I know. Yeah. I don't know. Apparently, I was good at soccer. I don't remember being that good.
Okay. Why baseball?
Baseball?
What was it that made you stick with it?
I think basketball, I just wasn't that good.
Okay.
And I was kind of short. And I hit puberty a lot later than everyone else. So when I was like just the average player before everyone hit puberty, and I still hadn't. I hit puberty late.
Okay.
And I was just not that good, and I was shorter than everyone else, and then I think I just didn't work as hard. I didn't like it as much.
Yeah.
Baseball, I think I was just like naturally better at it. I don't know. I just like stuck with baseball.
And football, you just kind of
I played
put your toes in the water.
Played for 1 year in 5th grade, and then I was like, screw this.
How come? You just didn't like getting hit? It was too hard? It was just not as fun?
I feel like I liked it. I think I didn't like the practices. I was kind of a little puss.
Yeah.
But then I also like I was gonna play the next year, I think. Or maybe I was going to play soccer the next year, but then I got offered to play basketball in the fall. So I was like, okay, I'd rather do that because I like basketball better.
Yeah, I feel you. Football, like, to me, I probably had the most fun in games.
Yeah, but
practices were not fun at all. I just wanted to go, like, hit people, but
exactly.
they had to do all these boring-ass drills.
And baseball practices were the best because basketball, like, we'd have to run lines and stuff. Baseball, sometimes practice gets rained out. And you're not going to run that much unless you guys like suck and you're goofing around. But like all the teams that I was on, we didn't run a ton.
Yeah.
It was mostly just like hitting and fielding.
I feel you. Okay. What is a memory of elementary school that stuck with you that you haven't talked about on this podcast before?
Memory from elementary school.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be something big. It could be just a random minute detail. What's something that has stuck with you from elementary school?
I don't know why this is the first thing that pops into my head, but I remember my 1st grade teacher, Mrs. Teague. She like every day before lunch, she'd read off what the school has for lunch that day, and she would do like accents for each thing or like different motions for each thing. So we used to have this thing called Godfather's Pizza.
Dude,
it was good.
Godly.
And then they took it away because it was like unhealthy or whatever.
That, like, I think if we had it now, it probably wouldn't taste very good. But at the time, it was on a whole nother level.
Dude, I lost my 2nd tooth ever to a Godfather's Pizza. My first tooth, I remember I was sitting in the cart at Rite Aid, which is sad that I was still sitting in a cart when I was like 6.
Maybe you were just bored.
I guess. I was sitting in the cart. I was wiggling my tooth. My mom went over a bump, and I was like, whoa, and I pulled it out.
Rite Aid.
In Rite Aid. And then she was like, hey, can I get a paper towel for my son? And then the second one, I was eating Godfather's Pizza, and it was like one of my bottom teeth. And I was just chewing, and all of a sudden I was like, felt like I bit into a rock, and I was like, what is in my pizza? And I pulled out my tooth. I'm like, oh shit, it's my tooth.
That was such a cool feeling.
Losing a tooth. Yeah.
And it's so weird because that's the only time in your life when a part of your body just like gets broken off, but it's a
Yeah.
good thing.
But it's kind of like a shitty feeling though, like when you have a loose tooth and you just like can't chew with it.
Yeah. Or trying to
You're,
like
like wiggling it
pull
around.
out a tooth before it's ready to come out.
Yeah, it was like the worst was molars. Like my molars would always break in half. Like when they were like ready to go, like half of it would fall out and half would still be in there.
Damn.
It's the worst. But yeah, Godfather's Pizza. So she used to do like, this is gonna be kind of cringy, but she used to go, Godfather's a pizza, but not pepperoni. I don't know why we didn't have pepperoni, but we always like the whole class would say
Really?
it with her. And then for egg rolls, she'd go egg roll and like a little rolling motion. And like I thought it was awesome in first grade, and then like I look back on it and it's just so cringy. But that's
like,
what you gotta do
it's-
with first graders.
Yeah, it's first graders. There's no
Yeah.
such thing as something being cringy in first grade.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist.
I was also a super good student. Like I would always behave. I was never like a troublemaker in school. And I remember, you remember like the cards you have to pull? I don't know if they still do that now, but you'd have like on your table, you'd have cards in like
For
a little
what?
envelope, and it was like green was on top. That means you're good. But if you get in trouble, you have to pull a card and it goes to yellow. And if you have to pull a card again, it goes to orange, and then it goes to red. And you have like a punishment for whatever.
Damn.
I had to pull a card one time in my life.
What did you do?
I was sitting there and somebody asked me a question while the teacher was talking, and I was like telling them to be quiet, and then she's like, Kyle,
Oh,
pull a card, and I'm
Damn,
like,
you got framed.
I looked at him like, bitch, you're the reason I pulled this card. I had my perfect record going.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, like we grew up in like a very suburban, like very white area.
Well,
that's the best way to
White and Asian.
Yeah, but like it's not, how do we describe it? Just like it's not.
I guess it's kind of known as like a snobby kind of.
Yeah, we grew up in just like the snobby suburbs.
To be honest, I really hated it.
Yeah, like I think fortunately we grew up with good, like in a good family who taught us good morals and we're not like judgmental and
Yeah.
like assholes. Thank God, because there are a lot of people that grew up where we grew up that you wouldn't want to hang out with because they're just not nice or like not
they're
down to
stuck
earth.
up, and they feel privileged or like they deserve everything, and
Yeah.
it's just like, ugh.
Now you live in Seattle, which you like better than
Yes, totally. I was
Like
so
living
happy to
in the
move out of
city.
here.
Yeah. But like I guess my point is with that, I assume a lot of schools don't do shit like that, but the parents here and just the whole school system
So
is
many
like
helicopter
very
parents.
extra,
Yes.
like making you just monitoring everything. And dude, I would
Parents
hate to be a
complaining.
teacher here.
Yeah, parents complain about everything.
Yeah. So
So like we were both, this is kind of fast forwarding in time. We both were referees for like the rec basketball league in our area. Man, I had to break up a fight between parents. I was getting yelled at constantly for like missing a travel call in a third grade girls game. And I'm like, guys, we're just trying to have fun here.
yeah, it's like
God,
yeah, people just kind of suck around here.
they really do.
Not everybody, but there's
a lot of people
a
suck
lot of
around here.
people just suck around here. So but my point is that's kind of, I think, maybe one of the reasons why they had this like system of
pulling cards.
where
So
basically if you didn't really understand it, basically like every student at their own desk has this like these
It's
four
like a little
cards.
envelope thing.
Yeah, it's like an envelope with different colored cards,
Every
and
day you start with green on top.
if you do bad, it's basically like guilt tripping. Like they make you feel bad because you have a yellow card and
Yeah.
you did something wrong, and Kyle still has a green card.
Yep.
And it was just
Got to yellow
to
one
get
time.
people to pay attention, basically.
Right.
Damn, only one though. That's pretty good.
I know. I was really bummed.
Okay, so you should let that teacher know that those accents stuck with you.
I mean, I don't know where she is now.
She'd appreciate that.
For the longest time, every single teacher I had left the year after I had them. My two preschool teachers, my kindergarten teacher, first grade and second grade teacher all left.
Dude, you just ruined their teaching experience.
Yes.
Not necessarily directly related to school, but what is something that you never tried growing up as a kid that you wish you did? Whether that be like a hobby or an activity or a sport or a game or a instrument or anything.
I feel like it would have been cool to play an instrument, but I feel like when we were in middle school, it was kind of like almost looked down upon. It's like, oh, you're in band. You play the saxophone, you nerd.
That's always kind of been the stereotype.
I know,
though.
and it's sad because like I wish that I had some sort of musical talent. Like I wish I could sing or something. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
But I just don't have that talent. Or dance. No, that's what I wish. I wish I could dance. I wish I learned how to dance cool. I just have no rhythm
Yeah.
and no confidence.
Yeah. I feel like rhythm, just the skill of having rhythm, if you can learn it young,
Yeah.
you're kind of set.
I had no rhythm.
Dude, because being able to dance is like,
So useful.
yeah, it empowers you so much confidence wise.
And I'm sure it's super attractive. But
Yeah.
then if someone ever saw me dance, they'd be like, oh, God, get that guy some help.
I know. I've said it before, but I dread the day when I have to dance at my wedding in front of other people.
I can handle a slow dance, but when things get
Oh,
quick,
yeah.
that's when I start getting into my shell. It's
Yeah.
bad.
Okay, so you wish that your mom maybe like signed you up for like a little kid hip hop class or
No, looking back, I don't know, but I never had to take any sort of musical thing. Like we had to learn how to play the recorder, but like she made my sister take piano lessons. I never had to take piano. But I kind of wish that I had some sort of musical something or
Okay.
dancing or whatever.
All right. Who was your favorite teacher ever and why?
Ever?
Yeah.
Probably in elementary school, my favorite teacher was my 5th grade teacher, Miss Redmond. She was just super nice. My sister had her too. My sister still talks to her because she's the one that inspired my sister to be a teacher.
Wow.
In 5th grade.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Why did you like her so much?
I don't know. She was just super nice, and I went into the class and she already liked me because she liked my sister. So that was nice.
Yeah.
I don't remember that much about her. I just remember I really liked her.
Okay.
But then also my other favorite teacher was in college. I had this sociology teacher that named Glenn. It was race and ethnic relations or something like that. And it was basically learning about racism and how different people are looked at and viewed. And I guess I knew that there's like white privilege. Like I'm a white male, so
Yeah.
obviously that I have a privilege. That's just how it is. And
Yeah.
it sucks, but I guess it helped me understand how other people's lives have been impacted by that, and like how it just helped me look at everything differently. And he was super cool. I always left that class was one of the classes that always made me want to pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was dope, and he was just a super cool guy.
Yeah. So did you leave the classes feeling more like appreciative of what you have? Because like,
Yeah, and I always left angry too because I was mad about something that I had learned that just pissed me off.
about people, in
Just
the
about
past,
people,
like,
yeah.
history.
Even now, just like how people act, and just there's some awful people out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I kind of jumped all over the board age wise.
Yeah. No. That's good. Who is your least favorite teacher ever and why?
Oh man, least favorite teacher. I have a couple, both in high school. One of them you were in the class. It was a block class, and it was one of the teachers. I don't want to say the name. Dude, she was just so mean for no reason. She was just I don't even know I don't remember much about her, but she was so mean.
And I feel like she was the teacher that I think she was mean because she didn't like her own life, kind of.
Yeah, she took everything out on us.
Like, I feel like she just didn't like herself, so she took it out on the students.
Could be.
I don't know.
I remember the other teacher was awesome and everyone loved her. She was one of my favorite teachers. And one day, I remember this so clearly. The mean teacher was gone for that day, and we had like a sub or the other teacher was there. The mean teacher was gone.
It was like I don't know if you guys have it everywhere in the country, but like it's like a joint class where it's
It's like 60 kids.
there's 60 kids. It's like half English, half history.
Yeah.
And there's 2 teachers, one
Yeah.
for each.
So one of the teachers was gone, and the good teacher was here. And the first thing is she walks up to the class, and she's like, "Hey, so Mrs. Blank is gone," and the whole class just goes, "Yeah!"
Literally, everybody started cheering
And even our
clapping.
teacher was laughing because she just knew that this person was so awful. And,
Yeah,
man.
and like even the teacher, she kind of had to tell us to stop it,
but she was like
but
kind of
at the
laughing.
same time, she was kind of like all for it.
Yeah, it was funny.
Dude, I forgot about that until you brought it up.
Oh, man.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and then my other teacher was one of my math teachers in high school. Oh, 2 of my math teachers. One of them was just super mean and just like the worst kind of person. Like
Okay.
she would just be like, you need to have a specific notebook for notes and a specific notebook for homework, and you have to take your notes this way, and you have to do everything just like how I want you to. And it was just, she was so mean and just like, she was sucked. I hate thinking about her. And then the other one was like the complete opposite, where she didn't even teach our class anything, and she would just give us tests and we would all fail because we didn't learn anything, and she couldn't control our class because we had kids in the back just like throwing shit at each other,
and she just didn't
and she
care.
wouldn't do anything, and I'm like actually trying to learn. One of the few times I'm trying to learn here because I'm trying not to fail. It was my junior year. I'm trying to get into college.
I thought you were good at math.
I was good at math until I got into her class because it was so hard because she didn't teach us anything. God,
Yeah.
sucked.
I feel you. Okay.
Sorry, I had to popped off right there.
It's okay. All right. So I asked you if you had a memory about elementary school that stuck with you. Do you have a memory of middle school? Because we're called the Peak to Middle School podcast. It was the best time of our lives.
Right.
Do you have a memory, not one that you've told before, but maybe a more obscure memory or something that you don't think you've mentioned in the podcast?
Oh, man. Well, I've mentioned getting hit in the face with a piece of pizza.
Mm-hmm.
That was one that really set me back. Middle school. I'm trying to think. This is random. I remember one time, the first time I'd ever seen somebody walking around with a toilet paper stuck to their foot was in middle school. This girl. And like, that's the worst time in your life for that to happen, because middle school, everyone's so awkward and everyone's so mean.
Yeah.
So like, this group of people just laughs at her. And like, I felt so bad, but like, I laughed too, because it's like, I've never seen that before. This girl walking around with toilet paper stuck to her foot.
And like, objectively, if you're just, as a regular human, like as an adult, if you see that, it's kind of funny, but it's not worthy of like making fun of someone. It's like, hey buddy, you got like a piece of toilet paper on your foot, whatever. They're like, oh, thanks, man.
I might laugh about it later, but I'm not going to laugh in your face.
Yeah.
But like, dude, little kids just are ruthless. And I don't remember who it is. I'm glad that I don't remember who it is, because clearly that means it didn't really stick with me that well.
Yeah.
Okay, and then another thing. I don't know if you were here for this. I don't know if I've even told the story, but one time I was walking home from school, and we went down this like little weird path to walk home. And if it had rained the day before, it was super slippery because there'd be like moss on the ground. Yeah. We live in Washington, so it's always wet. And Steve's mowing the lawn.
That's okay.
And so this girl comes. We're just in a group, like 4 of us walking home, and this girl comes zooming past us on a scooter. Meanwhile, on the scooter, just like a razor scooter, so it's hard. She's eating pudding while on the scooter.
That takes a lot of coordination.
Which is impressive, because if you try to go one-handed on a razor scooter, it's really tough.
It's impossible.
Like, I could go one-handed on a bike just fine. I could eat pudding on a bike. It'd be a little tough. I could do it. But she comes flying past us eating pudding.
This girl, she's not the most athletic girl.
No, she's not athletic. Well, I'll just say that. She's not an athletic girl. She comes flying around this corner, and of course she wipes out because it's all slippery. She falls down, pudding in hand. It's like, you see the videos of like guys at a baseball game, they get hit by a ball or something, but they don't drop their beer. Like, she didn't drop her pudding. So she falls down, and we're all just like, oh, shit. Are you okay? And she doesn't say anything, takes a bite of pudding, stands up, and rides off.
She continues one hand riding off?
Yeah. I'll never forget it.
I so wish I got to witness that,
It was
man.
so funny.
Damn, dude.
So that's middle school.
Do you think she was hurt, or was she trying to like play it off like, oh, I'm fine, I'm just going to ride home? But
I don't know. It could have been the kind of thing where if you fall on something that's super wet, you just kind of slide. She kind of just slid.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
she rode off like no big deal.
Damn.
She hit
dude.
hard. She didn't have a helmet on either.
Damn. All right. This was one I was going to ask you one about school, but now that I thought about it, it's better if I just ask about like in your whole life. This is just a life question.
Okay.
When is a moment that do you have a moment that your feelings got genuinely hurt? Kind of putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, that's tough. I'm trying to think.
We could put it on pause and we could just hold it and you could come back to it later.
Oh, okay. This wasn't one that like hurt my feelings bad, but this was just like embarrassing, and it just kind of pissed me off.
Yeah.
It was in high school. And so it was senior year baseball tryouts, and there was this new coach for like the JV team who like I didn't know, and we were like, what were we doing? We were gonna like do the 60-yard dash, whatever, to see how fast we are. And so like I pretty much knew I was gonna make the team, so it wasn't something that I was like super worried about at tryouts or whatever. But this coach who didn't know any of us is like asking us our names and like our class or whatever. And so I had my hat off, and so I step up, and I was never born with the greatest hairline.
Like, it's really not that bad though. Like, I don't notice it.
But it's something that like, especially in high school, like I was super insecure about it.
Okay.
And even at like a young age, you can just like, I was just born with like weird hairline. Like it just goes like that. And so I had my hat off and I had a super close buzz cut. So I just looked bald probably.
Okay.
And this coach just looks at me and goes, "What class are you?" I'm like, "Senior." He goes, "I couldn't tell if you were a freshman because you're small or if you're a senior because you have a receding hairline." And I was just like, "Oh my God." And everyone was like,
"That's so mean."
I know. And this guy was such an asshole. I got to know him better later on. I remember like everyone was just like, "Oh shit." Like he said that to him. Like everyone was kind of like, "Oh," but then a lot of people were kind of like, "Dude, that was kind of mean."
Yeah. And
so whatever. Like I didn't say anything to him. And then
were you like, "Oh, haha." Like, did you laugh at it? Or
I think I was just like, "All right, dude. Like, okay, good one. You got me. I'm a senior." So
yeah.
And then I remember after, like, this was super random, but this guy that was on our team that I wasn't like super close with, but he came up to me. He's like, "Hey man, I heard what the coach said. And, like, that was really shitty that he said that. I really wish that I had made fun of his lady hips because that guy's got some really wide hips." And like I remember that just made me feel better because he made fun of that guy's hips.
The lady hips.
Dude,
I never heard of that.
He had
before.
really wide hips. I was like, damn, I should have thought of that and fired back with him.
Damn.
But yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I don't even notice anything with your hairline.
Well, thanks, man.
Unless you bring it up and then I stare at your hairline. But
hey, thanks.
I got one more general school question before I got some other stuff. Do you wish that you tried harder in high school?
No. Definitely not.
Expand.
I tried pretty hard in high school. Like I would stay up late doing homework and I wouldn't have missing assignments. Like I would do all my work. I never was late for class. Like I would never skip class. Like I was just kind of a good kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't even end up getting into the college that I wanted to.
Yeah.
And even if I did get into that college, I feel like I might end up in this position that I'm in anyways, where I ended up dropping out of school because I didn't really feel like that was the path for me.
Yeah.
So
do you think even if you tried harder and got into UW, you don't think you would have gone?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to like say what would have gone differently, but I don't know if I would have been as happy. I feel like I'm happy with how my life has transpired to get me to this point. I guess.
Do you wish you tried less hard in high school?
I don't know, because I guess I'm proud of how I worked and like that I tried hard. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like a good skill to have, like whatever that I tried.
Even if you don't like it, just like putting in the effort.
Yeah, and getting my diploma and whatever. I could have slacked off more than I did, but whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
It's kind of like proving to myself that I'm like not stupid.
Yeah.
So
okay. So totally change of pace here.
Okay.
What is something that keeps you up at night?
Something that keeps me up at night.
Yeah. When you're having those sleepless nights, thinking about life or whatever, what's the type of thing that eats at you?
Probably just my future and like where I'm going to be and what I'm going to be doing and whether or not I'm going to be happy. Because the main thing is like I want to be happy, but that I want to be doing something that makes me happy.
And do you have doubts that is going to happen, or you just?
I mean, it's just like, let's say for the podcast, for example, like it would be awesome if this could be like our full thing, but like, what if it doesn't work out?
Yeah.
Then what? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess that's something I think that a lot of people stress out about is just your future and like where you're going to end up. And it's weird to think like, where am I going to live? Like, who am I going to meet? Like, what is my life going to look like in 20 years?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Okay. That's something that keeps me up at night, I guess.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of related to that, but I wrote, if you could do anything as a full-time career, and it just nothing else mattered, you could just pick what you wanted to do, what would it be?
It'd be this. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
I know you love sports. Would you do something sports related too?
Yeah, I mean, if I could have like a
Like you can literally pick whatever you want.
Well,
I mean,
how much
you still
money
have
am I
to
getting?
work. It's not like
Oh.
you're just like, you can't just be a millionaire. Like you got to work, but the money doesn't matter. You can just pick and choose and you just do it and then bam, like you're doing it.
I mean, probably like a baseball player. That'd be pretty sick. Like if I was just like super good, I could throw 100 miles an hour. But I
You
can't.
would drop PIMS to be a baseball player, man?
Yeah.
Fake friend, man.
Yeah, I fucking would.
Wow.
Do that in a second. No. No, honestly, this would be super fun. Like just to do that as a career. Because this doesn't feel like, it's like work, but it doesn't feel like work. And if this was a full-time job, we'd be able to put more time into it. And it would be even better.
Yeah. And there are people that do podcasts just like this one in a scenario just like what we have, where it's like kind of from home, you know, like there's people that literally do this exact type of podcast and make a good living off of it.
Yeah. So, and there's a lot that can like go off of this, like maybe, like you said, sports. Like if I could somehow get into like a sports podcast or whatever, like a sports writer or something. That'd be cool.
And then
president.
there could be shows, live shows.
Yeah.
And then there could be
Tour.
a documentary and a tour and a fucking...
And everyone's like, how did Kyle Stafford become so successful?
Yeah, they're like, that was just the kid that got roasted by his baseball coach.
Yeah.
That was the kid that got the yellow card
That one
in
time in
elementary
first
school.
grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have something that you've done in your life that you hope people don't remember that you did it, but there's probably someone out there that does remember?
Oh, dude, there's so many things. It's like I've seen tweets about it where it's you think about something cringy that you did like 10 years ago and you're just, why did I do that? Or you hope no one ever remembers that.
Yeah.
Let me try to think, because I thought of one the other day that like really just made me like cringe. Trying to think of what I did. I hope, dude, that pizza thing, I hope no one from across the lunchroom saw me get pizza in the face by that random kid
Yeah.
and remembers
But
that.
I mean, people do.
Our friends remember.
we
it.
know.
I know. But just some random kid. Oh, dude, I remember this one time. It was like this. It was in middle school, and I found this little like, you know those little keychains you can like clip onto things. It's like those little like blue clip has like a
Carabiners?
silver. Sure. Yeah.
Carabiners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I found one of those on the ground.
Okay.
This is after lunch. We were just out in the courtyard, like playing basketball or whatever. I found one on the ground, and there was this kid talking to some of our friends who was a year older than us, and someone that like when you're in middle school and there's like an older kid, you kind of look up to him.
Yeah.
It was somebody
Even
that
if they're a total dickwad.
yeah. I actually don't even remember who the kid was, but I remember that it was somebody that I would have been super embarrassed to embarrass myself in front of them.
Yeah.
So I have this clip, and what my original plan was, I'm gonna like act like I'm bowling and just bowl it to like towards our friends' feet, so they just get confused. Like I was just gonna slide
You're
it on the
gonna
ground.
roll a clip on the pavement.
I was gonna like slide it on the ground toward. See, it makes no sense. I was gonna slide this clip on the ground towards our friends' feet, and they're just like, "What the hell?" And like look over, and it's like, "Ha ha! I threw a clip at you." So all right, so dumb plan. Anyways,
Okay.
I go into my bowling position. I hold on too long. I end up just sending it in the air, and just it drills this kid in the side of the head.
The older kid?
The older kid in the side
In
of the head.
head?
In the head.
How do you go from rolling it
I
on the
don't know,
ground
dude.
to
I don't know.
throwing it at his head?
I don't know. I remember there was another kid with me, and he was kind of like pushing me at the same time, so I was a little off balance. Maybe I don't know, but I sent it into this kid's like temple, and he just like looks at me, and he's just like, "What the fuck?" And I thought he was gonna like beat me up, and I was like, "Oh shit, dude, I'm so sorry," and it was so embarrassing. And that kid just like didn't talk to me after that.
Damn, dude, your role model just
I know,
hated you.
I know. I can't remember who it is, so clearly he wasn't very important. But I remember it was one of those things where, you know, for example, if you like throw a ball like really far and you can tell it's gonna hit somebody, you just kind of like turn away and start walking.
Yeah.
It was like I turned away and started walking, thinking
Yeah.
that like maybe he wouldn't see that it was me,
Yeah.
even though I was the only one standing there.
Yeah. You told me the other day that you in high school you kicked a soccer ball and hit a girl in the face.
Oh no, it wasn't in the face. It was in the shoulder, dude. I would fucking booted this soccer ball in PE. I don't know why I kicked it so hard. Like, it was PE. I don't know why I was going so hard, but I was just trying to boot it across the field, and she comes running in front of me, and it just smashed her with this ball. Like, I probably didn't kick it that hard because I'm bad at soccer.
Yeah.
Oh, another embarrassing thing from high school. I broke my toe on playing soccer in PE on this other kid's foot. So it was this other kid who was a freshman, but he was huge. He's like just a giant. He's actually playing college baseball now, so shout out to him. But he was on our baseball team. But anyways, dude, he had feet of steel. I was trying to be funny and like go hard against him and like push him over. And so I come in running with the running kick, kicking as hard as I can, trying to kick the ball from out of the way, and I just kick him directly in the foot. Toe punched.
How do you miss it so bad?
I'm not good at soccer.
Okay.
I don't know. I misjudged my angle there.
Toe punched.
I just toe punched his foot and broke my toe.
Nice. Did you tell him that? Like, did you?
Yeah, he knew.
Know?
Yeah, he knew.
Okay. Did
Yeah.
you know that you broke it? Or were you like,
at the point, I was like, this really hurts. And it was like in the middle of the baseball season too. I like played through a broken toe the whole year. I just had to like run on the side of my foot. It was weird. But yeah, I never knew it was broken. I never went to the doctor until like months later because it was still hurting me. Like I'd be sitting down and someone would like bump into it. It would hurt so bad. Like I felt like I re-broke it. And they said it was fractured and it didn't heal right. So
oh, nice.
It's good now.
I broke my pinky and it never healed right either. So
wow.
Okay, well, baseball's a big part of your life. Everybody knows that.
Right.
You're a big baseball guy.
I'm just a big sports guy.
And senior year of high school, you won the
Yeah, we did.
Washington State Championship
4A.
4A
Yeah, we
in
did.
baseball.
It was awesome.
Take me through that experience. Like I don't want like I don't want the experience that the general fan would get when they watch like a documentary of like the Yankees winning the World Series because that's like you're seeing it from an outsider perspective. I want to know what it was like as if I was on the team.
Okay.
I want to be like that bench player that sucks, but I'm there.
Okay.
So what was that like?
I guess I'll take you back a little bit because we're the kind of team that we weren't that good in the regular season. Like we got third in our conference or something. And like I remember the season we had like a couple turning points in season. One was where we got blown out by this really shitty team and our coach just laid into us. And I don't know, all of the guys on our team, we were all pretty close. And it was our first year for our head coach. And I remember like we all just kind of weren't too sure about our coach at the time. We were all just like, I don't know, like I guess we were all super like laid back guys and we didn't want somebody because the coach before him was just an asshole and everyone hated him. And I guess we were the type of team that didn't respond well to constant like yelling and whatever. We all just wanted to kind of step back and like have fun during the game, which I think is what baseball is all about.
But there's times when the coach has got to get on your ass.
Yeah, and he was getting on our ass, but we also like had a talk with him because he was even saying like, what can I do to be different? And we were all just like, okay. Because every single time before a game, we would play this game called 2-ball, which is this, you're in the circle and you're like tossing 2 balls around basically, and there's a bunch of different rules. And if you drop it, you're out. And so we would play that before every game. And it might have looked cocky to the other teams that we were just like playing this shitty, stupid game on the field before a game. But that was just like how we stayed loose and had fun.
Yeah.
And so our coach like banned that because you guys were like, oh, you guys aren't focused. And we're like, no, we need this because if we're too focused, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Like we tried that and that whole thing wasn't working.
You guys got to be loosey goosey.
Yeah, we had this big. We talked about it and we're like, we're too tight butthole. We need more loose butthole. Usually tight butthole is like a good thing. That's what people say. We needed to be loose butthole to just be.
Is this a baseball term or is this just a life term?
No, just like
I've never heard of loose versus tight butthole.
I think it's from Workaholics.
Okay.
Anyways, we're all just like, let's just.
So what you're saying is you guys were skeptical of this coach at the beginning. You didn't he didn't really understand what worked for you guys.
Yeah, and then we all had this big powwow and like we all got on the same page. Then we got
with the coach
and everybody.
And then you guys liked him.
Yeah,
you're chilling.
I mean, it's not that we hated him. We just needed to get on the same page.
Yeah.
So we're all on the same page.
And you guys, do you think talent-wise, like, were you guys like, obviously you won state, but did you guys know like you had the talent to win state?
Well, the year before the team, like, it was one of the first times in a while they got to state, and they went kind of far. They went like on a little run, but I remember at the beginning of the year, someone said, like, what is one of our goals? And someone said, win the state championship. And we're all like, yeah, that's like a realistic possibility. But we weren't one of the like favorite teams at all.
Okay, so you were kind of an underdog.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I remember at one point, like the second turning point was we had this, like at the end of the season, we were tied with some other team. And we had to have like a tiebreaker game to see like who gets what seed in the playoffs for our conference, and we ended up playing like a 21 inning game.
Dude, that's got to be one of the crazy experiences ever.
It was insane. We played for like 6 or 7 hours.
Didn't the game end at like 2 a.m?
Yeah, it was done at like the next day, and we started. Yeah, it was insane, dude. It was the longest game ever.
And wasn't it far away too?
Yeah.
And then you had to drive home.
Yeah.
And did you go to school the next day?
Yeah, but they sent out emails to all the teachers saying that all the baseball players are probably tired. So like I walk into class and like my teacher's like, "Oh, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a little tired. I might need to take it easy today." It was nice. But yeah, that was really fun. But that was like, I feel like that was a super big bonding moment for our team just because we were going through all that shit together. It took forever, and somehow we knew like every single inning the other team would get guys on base and like they're about to hit a walk off, and then their guy would just blow it and we'd strike him out or something. And for some reason the whole time we were never nervous we were gonna lose.
Like you guys just knew you were gonna win.
I don't know, we were just like, we played with no pressure. Like we didn't care.
Yeah.
Not that we didn't care, but it was just like we knew we were gonna win.
That's a cool feeling because I remember like a few times in my life when I'm just like so overwhelmed with confidence that it's like you don't, and you're just like in this flow state where you're not really like thinking too much, because when you think too much, you don't play well.
Yeah.
But if you're just like in the zone, it's like the best.
And we were like laughing about it the whole time. We'd be like, "Oh my God, we're in the 18th inning," and we'd be laughing and whatever and just having fun. It was like fun for us, and they were like yelling at each other in the other dugout and pissed, and kids would strike out and be throwing their bats, and we were just like laughing.
I remember like getting text updates and stuff, and it was like I was just mind blown because I'd never even heard of a game going like 20 innings and like any ever.
And we play 7 innings in high school, so it was 3 games basically. It's 21 innings. Yeah, it was insane.
Did you guys like run out of pitchers or?
Basically, we were down to like our last couple pitchers. I was like warming up in the bullpen at like as the game was over.
That's funny.
It was insane. And then after that, and that was just like a seeding game. That was like for the 2 seed in the KingCo playoffs, which meant almost nothing. We ended up losing to that same team in the KingCo playoffs, but there was some weird rule that like we completely blew it in the playoffs.
Wait, so you lost?
We lost.
But
in the KingCo playoffs, we got 3rd, but there was some weird rule because a team from our conference had gone to state the year before. We got an extra bid. So we got a play-in game with some random team down in like Vancouver, and we beat them.
Damn, so you should have been out.
Yeah.
Because they went to.
And so we won that game, and then we advanced to state, and we ended up being the number 1 overall seed because of that. I don't know why. It's just like how it worked.
Okay.
And then we like played this kind of shitty team in the first round. Second round, we were supposed to play the best team in the state, but they got upset by some other shitty team. So we beat the second shitty team. And then we beat this other team that's like undefeated.
Was that in the state
we had
championship?
like no, that's in the semifinals. We had like 5 errors in the first inning, and again we just weren't worried.
Damn.
So that was like in the semifinals. We were playing really shitty, and somehow we were still like, whatever, it's fine. Like no one was ever pressing. It was always just like, whatever, like it'll be fine. We'll score runs and we'll win.
Yeah.
And I remember the most like hyped up I'd ever been in my life was I was on second base, we were down by 1. I was on second base. Somebody hits a single and 2 runs scored, and I was the last run that scored. I just remember getting up and like screaming my head off.
You mean like, did you slide into home?
Yeah, I slid into home. We took the lead like late in the game. I just remember like I've never yelled that loud in my life. Like I was so fucking pumped.
Was everybody just going
nuts?
nuts?
Everyone was going nuts, just like throwing each other around. It was so much fun.
That's gotta be, in my opinion, one of the best feelings that you can ever experience, at least so far. I mean, obviously when like you're married and you have a kid, it's probably different, but like for like young people, I think the camaraderie of a team all losing their mind when something crazy happens is one of the best feelings. And that's why I think that playing sports, at least
especially team sports,
at least just for a little bit, is so important, because that feeling, you don't experience that any other place. Like you don't get that feeling when you're just like goofing around with friends or playing video games. Like obviously, well, in esports there can be like something crazy that happens, but like I'm big into esports. I'm a big supporter, but I still don't think anything is the same as like
The adrenaline rush of
the
like
adrenaline of like
in a game, in a big game.
You're exhausted. You've been playing all game, and like for me, let's say basketball. For you, it's baseball. Like for me, if you're playing basketball, like I remember there was times when Connor hit like a buzzer beater 3, and everybody just storms on the court and like swarms him screaming.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I love stuff like that. That's what I miss most about sports is like stuff like that.
Yeah,
is those like big moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our team was just super fun. Like we had all these weird things that we brought with us. So like we found this pair of glasses on the ground that had no frames in them, and they're like the little nerd glasses things.
Okay.
And so if you've ever seen the movie Major Leagues, Charlie Sheen's a pitcher and he has those like same glasses on.
Okay.
And we had watched that game, or we had watched that movie on the way to like one of the state games on the bus, and we found these glasses on the ground. So
that same day?
The same day.
Damn.
So we would make every starting pitcher would just wear those glasses when they were warming up.
That's awesome.
Like, we probably just looked so dumb. And we found this little dinosaur that we named Rallysaurus Rex. So every time we needed a rally, we'd bring out Rallysaurus. And we had this little like funnel thing that we brought with us because our coach wanted us to hit the ball like up the funnel. We had a drill called up the funnel. Like we just had all these weird things that these weird ritual things we'd do.
Yeah, that's awesome though. Stuff like that is fun.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But then state championship,
were you okay? This is the big game. State championship.
Yeah.
Is your team feeling good? Are you feeling healthy? Are you playing a good team?
Yeah. Luckily, their pitcher, who is pitching at UW now, he was like a savage.
Yeah.
He pitched their best pitcher pitched in the semifinals, so they had like their number 2.
Why would they do that? Pitch your best pitcher in the semis?
I know. I don't know why they did, but so we had like their number 2 pitcher, and we had our ace, so it was dope. Yeah, I don't know. I remember the score was like 2-1. It was a close game. I'm pretty sure we scored early.
What position did you play?
I was like a utility player / pitcher. I like just played everything.
Okay.
Like I didn't start, but I would pitch a little bit. I would come in the outfield as like a defensive replacement. I would pinch run. Like everyone on our team had a certain role. That's what I loved about our team is like there weren't a lot of egos and like, oh, I'm on the bench, whatever. I don't care about anything. Like everyone knew their role and everyone knew what they were doing.
Yeah. And what's cool is like you guys had like some pretty damn good players on the team, and the fact that like you have two players that your age or our age are playing Division 1. Well, one's a pro now.
Yeah, one's professionals. He actually might be on the podcast someday.
Yeah, he's gonna be on the he actually by the time this episode goes up,
he may have already been out.
He may have already been on the podcast.
Okay.
So that's our buddy Danny, and he's on in the Dodgers organization now. But so like he was really good. Connor Knutson was really good.
Yeah.
Who else?
Jay Simp
was really good.
Yeah, we had a bunch of guys that like on our team that ended up playing in college.
And like the fact that there's that many good players, yet it was still a little to no ego team.
No, yeah.
That's pretty rare.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I guess what I remember from that game is just like the final out or like the end of the game. I remember they had a guy on second because our right fielder dropped the ball with like 1 out in the last inning, and it was just like, oh my god, he was like almost crying out there.
So you were up?
I was we were up. Yeah, we were up 2-1, and then we like picked somebody off, and it was insane. And then we struck somebody out at the end, and then everyone just comes out in mobs, and like we all jump on each other. I was at the bottom. I got there quick, and I dove.
So did you sprint from the dugout?
Yeah. So
and
like hop over the rail, dude. I beelined it. I wanted to be in the bottom. I wanted that experience. I fucking beelined it, dove on, and I got crushed by the biggest kid on our team. On my head, dude. I was laying on my side.
Were
he
you
was
in
on the
pain?
side of my head. Yeah, I had a headache the whole day. I was like feeling really shitty after it, but it was so worth it.
Might have got a concussion, but it was worth it.
Dude, yeah. I was like, it was really fun. I was yelling at the bottom of the pile, and then I got to the point where I was like, all right, this really hurts. Yeah, it was really fun. And there's like videos of it that I've like watched back, and it's
Do you think that was one of the best feelings of your life?
Definitely. That was really fun. And then everything after that, I remember like just dancing in the locker room, playing Really Big Rings by Drake.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where were you guys? Like, where was the game played?
It was in like Pasco. It was like Eastern.
So it was really far away.
Yeah.
Damn.
I remember we rode on a school bus, and like all these other teams had charter buses, but we were on like a fucking school bus, and we had this really dope school bus driver named Linda, and we like let her hold the trophy.
Was Linda hype for you?
Yeah, she like gave us a pep talk before the game. She was awesome. She was like the team grandma.
Damn, shout out to Linda.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of a long story, but
No, that's good. I wanted the ins and outs. I wanted to feel like I was on the team.
yeah.
And
Awesome.
I do.
That's
And now
great.
all you listeners, you can feel like you were a part of it.
Yeah. That was the last baseball game I ever played.
Wow.
Ended on top.
Hey, until you play men's league.
Dude, I will be playing men's league someday.
Softball.
Hell yeah. It's slow pitch softball.
Well, Kyle, we're probably at about an hour right now.
Damn.
Which is great. We had a little bit of intro, so I don't know, probably talked for like 50 minutes or so about your life. I don't have any more questions.
Okay.
Is there anything else? Any last before we transition?
What am I doing with my life? I don't know. I mean,
Do you have a moment that you can confidently say was the funniest moment of your life?
ooh, funniest moment of my life.
Yeah. Like, when do you think is the hardest you've laughed?
Probably just some time with our friends. One of our friends doing something dumb.
Yeah.
That's like usually when I laugh the hardest.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't end up talking much about the like punishments. Some of the punishments. Maybe we can, when we're talking through your life story, we can talk
Okay,
about some of the
yeah,
punishments we've had with our friends.
Like, for me, I'll say mine. You can maybe
Okay.
you think of one. But for me, I'm using one as an example, but it might not be the hardest, but it's just situations like this one. So this had to have just been like probably this year or maybe last year, but we were at my house in my living room playing Sorry.
Oh,
and
yeah,
from
that's
what
up there.
from what I remember, it was you, right?
Yeah, it was me.
So what happened? So you had to get like
So Jordan was winning. We were playing Trouble.
Trouble. I
Yeah,
always get those
that's the
mixed up.
game where you have like the little dome with the dice is inside. You have to like push it down and,
And
it
then it
pops up.
bounces, and you have to hit certain numbers in order to move your little
Yeah.
character
So Jordan was like one move away
from winning.
from getting into the safe zone, basically. And so I was the last one to stop him. It was my turn, and his turn was next. I had to get like a 6 to get my guy out. So I rolled a 6. I got another 6. When you get a 6, you get to roll again. I had to get another 6. Rolled another 6. We're like, oh shit!
And all of us started kind of screaming.
I get a 6. I get another 6. I'm like, oh my god! All I needed was a 4. I get a 4,
And everybody
and we were just like, ah!
dude,
I got like 3 6s and a 4 all in a row, which is exactly what I needed.
I truly don't know if I've ever laughed harder than I did at that moment. Like, and it for me, it's not even like the act in and of itself. It's more of like the fact that all of our friends at the beginning were like, "All right, Kyle, you really need a 6." Then he gets a 6, and everybody goes, "Whoa!" And then they do it
Another
again. Everyone's
6,
like,
like,
"Whoa!"
whoa.
And then we do it again. Everyone's like, "Ah!" And then at the
Oh,
end, just
man.
everybody losing their mind. I was like, I truly couldn't breathe,
Yeah.
and my face hurt so bad.
Yeah,
So
I love moments like that.
yeah.
Just laughing hard with your friends.
And then we played a Risk just a couple weeks ago, and that was hilarious.
Didn't go well for me.
I feel like a lot of the times I've laughed the hardest is when it's like a bunch of our friends together playing some form of game.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well that's basically a quick summary of my life
In 1 hour.
in 1 hour. It's as best as we could do. I mean, there's definitely stuff we missed, but
Yeah. And I mean, stuff will come out over the next years that we do this podcast. But I hope that at least it gave you guys a little bit more insight into Kyle and who he is and
now you know
what
me.
made him into this gem that he is today.
Yeah,
You know?
a lot of baseball.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so now we're going to switch it up and talk about your boy.
All right.
So
Do you want to
ask away.
You want to start with just like a general thing, or do you want me to ask questions?
You can just ask something and I'll just go.
Okay. I guess the first thing I'm going to ask is, can you create like sections of your life that you would say, these are like the main sections of my life, like maybe birth to whatever, or like high school years, or what would you say your years are?
Like, okay.
And it doesn't necessarily need to be like high school. I guess that's like the easier
Just
way
like
of doing
general sections.
it. Yeah.
Okay, I'd guess from born to when I start remembering like doing things.
Okay.
Cuz
We'll just skip that section.
cuz Kyle has a really good memory
I
of
remember
like
weird
specific
things. Yeah.
doing things. I don't remember like anything from any age up until like elementary school, really. I don't hardly have. I have a few memories of preschool, and that's about it.
Oh, I remember preschool.
So
Real quick, I just remember in preschool standing at the top of a loft, pretending I was Blue's Clues. He would go like, burr, 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 burr.
Okay.
I just remember doing that with this other kid named Jai.
Jai.
Yeah.
That gives you a little insight into the area that we grew up.
Yeah.
You know,
Kyle and Jai.
like those
a
are
combo
both
right
common names here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you could probably find just as many Jais as you could Kyles.
Probably. Yeah.
And I'm literally not even joking.
Not joking. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, so up till I remember, then I guess like I would say the insecure days. That's a whole section.
What ages do you think that would be?
So I would put elementary school with up until 4th grade would be in like the beginning one when I'm just like not really a human.
You're just kind of doing dumb
And
shit.
the insecure days is like 5th grade until probably like middle of junior year of high school.
So puberty.
Yeah. I just for a while, I've said this before, but for some reason I thought that like being angry or like not smiling was like cool. And I think I got it from just like my sports role models.
Dennis Rodman
And Kevin Garnett were and still are my two like biggest inspirations. And I think what happened was I confused like working really hard and working harder than anybody else and like grit and determination. I confused that with like you also had to be like angry.
Yeah, and I think on the court, Kevin Garnett and Dennis Rodman are different people than off the court.
Yeah, and I think I kind of like tried to lump those together because I felt like for me, for a while I was set on playing college basketball. Like I truly wanted to play college basketball. And I was like, I had the mindset where it's like, it's not an if, it's like I'm going to play college basketball.
Mm-hmm. When did you have that? When did you feel like you were going to play college basketball? Like when was that
like
goal?
6th to 8th grade is when I truly was like, that's when I was like, this is going to happen. I'm going to work really hard. But then I think high school is when it got to the point where I realized like,
it's not happening.
I don't know. I'm not on pace to play college basketball right now.
Yeah, no.
But like, I think the biggest thing that happened is just like, I took a lot of pride in playing really good defense. That was my thing in basketball. It's like I wasn't very good at shooting, and if I wanted to play college basketball, I had to be really good at something.
Well, hey, someone from our area just got drafted into the NBA, and he's a great defender, elite defender. Very not that great offensively. So that you were trying to follow that same mold.
Exactly. Yeah, Matisse. If you guys are fans of the NBA, you've probably heard of Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah.
He just got drafted. He went to UW. He went to our middle school. Yeah. Like I played basketball with him.
We watched him like dunk for some of the first times in middle school.
Yeah. So I've known him like forever. I mean, I don't like talk to him, but like known of him for a long time. But so yeah, I don't know. There was like a whole phase when I was sort of insecure, but I don't know. It was a weird mixture of being insecure and just like angry. I don't think I was like depressed, but I just like would always be angry because when I played basketball angry, I was so much better. And so I was like, I just got to be angry because if I'm happy, I'm not going to be a good like psycho defender if I'm like go lucky jolly.
Right. So you weren't good at separating on the court John and off the court John.
Yeah.
It was just all on the court John was off the court John.
Exactly.
Which can be dangerous because I mean, I feel like a lot of the players that are super, like, I guess when you're locked in on the court, if you're not, what am I trying to say? I'm like talking in a circle right now.
If you're not good at separating the on and off the court,
yeah, it can
be dangerous.
Right.
Yeah. And so for a while, like when I was with my friends, I'd still be happy. It's not like I'm with my friends and I'm like, oh, fuck this, fuck that, bleh. But I don't know. I just felt like I needed to have this persona of like this like tough guy that just was like straight face all the time and like not raise my hand, not like.
Yeah, dude. I feel that.
It was weird. I don't really know why, but I'd try really hard in school. I put in a lot of effort. I'd get all my work done, stay up late, just like you.
What was your GPA? You remember?
I had a 4.0 in middle school.
I was student of the year in 7th grade.
Yeah, fuck that, man.
I don't know how that
I don't
happened.
know how you got student of the year, but
Yeah, what about like high school? What was your
high
GPA?
school I got like a 3.9.
Damn, you had a 3.9?
Yeah, high school was pretty good, and
Holy
then
shit.
college I got. That's when it kind of dropped off. I got like a 3.0 or something in college, but
Wow, that's that, yeah.
one of the biggest things I've learned in my life is that like being happy is cool.
Yeah,
And being like unhappy and finding a reason to be unhappy,
not cool.
for some reason, I thought that was like a cool thing that I wanted to be like these people that are
Like,
angry
not
and like
trying
intense
to.
and not trying. That's not cool. It never will be cool.
No, it's really not.
Like I admire people that like outwardly show effort to things and show that they care about things and try. And so, yeah, that was a big section. Then after I quit basketball junior year. Well, first of all, I got to a point where I knew I wasn't going to play college basketball. It became pretty clear.
We all hit that point where you're like, this isn't going anywhere.
Yeah. And like for me, when I realized that wasn't going to happen, although I like basketball, I didn't like it enough. Like I didn't want to keep playing if it wasn't going to go anywhere for me.
Like, you didn't want to play at like Kent State.
No. Well, no, I mean, that would have been cool. But
okay.
I guess my point is I don't want to play a high school sport if I'm not going to play a college sport.
Oh, I see.
Because it's like, why waste my time in high school if I could like be doing other things that I like?
Okay.
And then one thing that I've never talked about a whole lot, but like I quit basketball and there was like a couple months when it was like a horrible time in my life because I hated this coach so much. And this coach like kind of ruined a year for me.
Damn.
Which is pretty, like a whole year of my life. I think I truly was like depressed in a way from this coach. Like it was so weird because half the kids on the team really liked this coach and half the kids hated this coach like with a passion, and it was just two opposites. And I felt like if you're good at basketball or if you're like a good player and you're like a top 5 to 6 players, he'd like you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were like a bottom 5 to 6 players, he just hated your guts. And what was weird is like I was starting for a while on varsity. Like I think objectively I was like a decent player. I was never good at offense, and like I knew that. but
you knew your role.
Yeah, like I knew my role. But this coach, like kind of like what you said, is your team didn't respond well when they were just like screaming or like that intense type of coach. I personally would not respond well to a coach that would chew you out. Some players do. Some players really need someone to chew them out.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
But for me, it would just, I would start to resent the coach, which would then make me want to like not play for the coach. I would rather play like for myself kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this coach, and the thing I hated is I felt like there was a lot of like favoritism. Like I felt like I would get chewed out for something, and then if someone else did the same thing, they'd be like, "Oh, all right, it's okay."
There was a lot of that, I feel like, in our area.
Yeah,
a lot of like almost politics with
yeah,
sports.
politics in sports is just such bullshit.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're playing well, you should play. If you're not playing well, you shouldn't play.
It's pretty simple.
And there should be no like weird like, "Oh, I like you because like I like your dad or something, so I'm gonna like treat you better and like play you more or whatever." Now, like, I don't want to make it sound like it was never about like playing time. If I don't play good, like don't play me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like it was never me arguing that I should play more because I played like a good amount of the game. But this guy just like, it was much more on a personal level. He just made me feel like terrible as like a person. And yeah, so I got to a point where I literally hated going to practice just because I didn't want to see this guy.
Damn.
Like he just like made me hate basketball. So I got to a point where I told my family, like, you guys know I hate this guy. You guys hate this guy. I just don't want to play anymore. But what was weird is it was literally the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of like, me and this other guard were like the two main guards. And so I felt like I was kind of letting the team down because I was like a really good defender. And if I just quit, then that's like letting the team down. And
it's a tough decision.
Yeah, it was a tough decision. But I was like, ultimately, I fucking hate this guy. So
And
I'm
you got to do
quit.
what's best for I don't know how to list right
Gotta
there.
do what's best for you.
Gotta do what's best for you.
So one night I stayed up and I wrote an email for like 3 hours to this coach. I proofread it. I made this shit like a college formal email, and I sent it to his personal email, and I basically told him like, I'm quitting. You made me depressed. You like ruined my life. not I didn't say that.
Yeah.
But I basically said like, this is what you did that made me resent you so much. This is why I hate the game.
Did he ever respond?
No. Never respond. I've never seen him since. I've never talked to him since.
Damn. Wait, didn't you see him at Connor's funeral?
Oh yeah, I saw him at Connor's funeral, and he said, "What's up, Johnny?" I don't like when people call me Johnny because of that guy.
Damn.
He'd always call me Johnny, or he'd call me Farrar. Hey, Farrar. Like,
oh, that bugs you? Last name?
Yeah.
No one called me Kyle.
It bugs
on
me
my
because
baseball team.
he would do it.
Okay.
You know, it's like
one time he called me vertically challenged. I had that same
coach.
Yeah, it was kind of funny at the time.
Did you like him or did you not like him?
I had him the first time I had him in 6th grade. Well, you were on the team.
Yeah.
In 6th grade, I didn't like him in 6th grade, but then we had him again in 7th and 8th grade for like our middle school team, and that team was way more laid back because we were like really good and just dominated.
Yeah.
So I liked him a lot better then.
Yeah.
But I'm sure in high school it's way different because in middle school he's probably going way easier on us than he is in high school.
Yeah. But yeah, so I wrote him this email and I quit that night, and I think I texted the team in our group chat saying like I quit and like I'm sorry, blah blah blah, but like I just gotta quit. And then I left the group chat, and that was it. And then it was just weird. And I remember the day after, like my grandparents were in town when I quit. They were visiting from like Colorado or something, and so I was like, "Hey, Grandpa, could you pick me up? Like, because I'm not gonna go to practice anymore." And he picked me up. He's like, "Are you sure you want to do this? Like, you could still kind of like, it's like you could still go back." I'm like, 1, I probably couldn't.
Yeah, you just sent all this email to this coach.
2, I don't want to. Like, and I think my family thought that I was like doing something I was gonna regret. They're like, "Oh, like I don't know if you should send that. Like, I don't know if you want to."
Mm-hmm.
But it was like I truly did. Like, I truly was done with basketball.
Yeah.
And so I sent it, and then I remember it was weird because I got a bunch of texts from like 2 or 3 different players, like, "Hey, dude, like, come on, man, like, just show up." Like, but like they were trying to convince me to not quit, but I was already at home, and I was like, anyways, that was a big time for me because, one, that was like I finally stood up for something that I believed in, and I felt like I knew that there was 4 or 5 other kids on the team that felt the same way, that didn't quit, but they hated him. And I was like, someone just needs to tell this guy that he's a fucking asshole.
Sometimes that's like probably a great feeling to like just absolutely stand up to somebody and say, "I hate you."
Yeah. And like I really didn't hold back in the email. Like I never reread the email, so I don't remember what I said. There's probably things that I wish I didn't say, but
Or worded differently, maybe.
yeah, I probably could have worded it better, but
You're in high school.
yeah, so there was like, it was a little weird after that because I remember like someone leaked or showed me screenshots of like our group chat after I left, and apparently a lot of the players just like tore me apart and like made fun of me and stuff, which is like, that's expected. Like
whatever.
I can live with that, but it was just weird for a while, especially in high school when everybody's so like ego driven or whatever.
Yeah.
So, wow, that took a while.
No, that's an important part of your life.
So that was like the insecure days. And then after that, like end of junior year and senior year, and up until when I dropped out of college, probably, that was like, I don't know. That was like try and figure out what you want to do. And
Yeah,
like I just didn't really give a shit anymore what people thought about me.
I felt I can see a difference between you junior, like up until junior year, until after you quit, and then senior year. You're like a different person because before then you were super quiet and like you'd sit at the end of our lunch table and like do your homework, and we'd all be like fucking throwing shit at each other. And you'd be like doing your homework or whatever. And and then after that you became way more like outgoing and like you would MC at our assemblies.
Yeah, like I really tried to put myself out there more, and I'm glad I made an effort. I kind of wish I would have tried earlier because that when I quit basketball was the time when I realized that being angry wasn't cool and that being happy was actually cool.
Yeah.
And so that's when I tried more. And fortunately, our buddy Willig was like,
The ASB
he
god.
was always very involved
Right.
with the school and like literally friends with everybody. He went to all the events and stuff. And I always thought that was stupid, but I was like, Willig seems like he's having fun. People like him. I should just try it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tried having fun for once.
yeah, I tried having fun. So I emceed like 2 or 3 assemblies. I emceed like the talent show, like just a lot of stuff. And that's when I really got into YouTube and like making like vlogs and just videos. I thought they were good. Looking back on them, they weren't good at all. But
It's kind of fun to look back and watch them though.
yeah. That's when I got big into YouTube, and that's when the dream kind of transitioned from like play sports to become a YouTuber.
Mm-hmm.
And I really, for a while, I thought I wanted to be like this vlogger, filmmaker thing because at the time there was a lot of people blowing up doing videos like that.
Mm-hmm.
I never blew up because I never made that cool of videos.
I like looking back at those videos because I'm in some of those videos. If you guys ever want to look at John's, scroll down in his videos. There's some like just funny videos from us in high school. At least I think they're funny.
Yeah, they're funny. A lot
They're
of them
just
are
like kind of cringy,
but
but it's like
I
fun
actually-
memories to look back on.
yeah. Actually, like a month ago, I was applying for a job and like this video job, and I wanted to link my YouTube channel because a lot of projects I'm proud of on my YouTube channel, but there's also a lot of projects that I wasn't proud of. So I went back through every video I ever made, and I privated a lot of them. So I could still send people links, but like it's like a private link.
So like your vlogs are just not there.
Well, some of them are, but a lot of them are not there.
All right.
But like the legendary videos are still there.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so it went from the insecure days to like, I don't even know what to call them, but just the time period from when I thought I found this new passion and like actually caring about life and showing emotion.
Would you say you're still in that phase, or is there a phase after that?
I
You
think
still care
there's
about life?
I still care about life.
That's good.
No, yeah. So I think that was from like senior year of high school to I dropped out after one semester of my sophomore year, or like a year and a half of college.
Mm-hmm.
I think after that, that's when I guess I was in this like fog where I thought that I was pursuing something that I was passionate about.
Mm.
And the whole time I was at college, I was really trying to convince myself that I wanted to be there in film school. I'm
But
like,
you just
oh
didn't.
yeah, I like movies. I want to write scripts. I want to be a director. But I very quickly realized that that's just not what I cared about. Content like this is what I cared about.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized like there's no major for internet content or
Right.
like
Podcast
new
major.
media major. It just doesn't exist.
You just kind of have to do it.
Yeah, you just have to do it and get people to care about your content. And that's so when I dropped out, I would say when I dropped out was really the start of like the best time of my life. That's when I moved back home, and then I got my first job, which I've said this before, but I moved to LA for 6 months working as a videographer in esports. And then I moved to Texas working for another 6 months. And then I got to a point where like it was a good job, but I was like making good money, and everything was going well. And that was like, I guarantee I could have ridden that job and just like moved up the ranks year after year.
Mhm.
And I could have done that for like my whole career. I honestly think like I had enough connections to get hired for like a different production company or become like a manager of production or whatever. But like, I kind of sat back when I was like, do I want to be 33 and being like a manager, like managing different videographers for esports content? Not really. Like it's cool, but I'd rather pursue a dream that I had. And for me, it was still like the dream never died of making my own content.
Yeah.
It just transitioned from like vlogs and gaming videos to
This
type of stuff. And I don't know. So yeah, I think I'm in this phase now of like the unknown, but
going after your dream.
going after my dream.
Okay.
So, sorry, that was way more long than
No,
yours.
no, you're good. So I kind of have questions about that you can answer about each section of your life.
Okay.
What was some of them you kind of already answered? What was the hardest part of each section of your life? So when you were your early stage, what was the hardest thing for you? And it could just be like something dumb.
It's
like
gonna sound
talking to girls.
stupid. I was literally gonna say
really?
it's gonna sound stupid, but dude, just talking to girls,
Dude, yeah, I feel that.
and just
Middle
not
school.
being weird.
Yeah.
I just wish it took me so long to realize to just be yourself. It sounds so corny and so Disney, but like, just be who you are, because it's so much easier, and people are going to like you so much easier if you're just yourself, even if you're a weirdo. Dude, Murtaza is the fucking weirdest kid I've ever met.
Yes.
But people grow, like surround a person like that because they're so weird in the best way.
Yeah.
So it's like he was himself, and as a result, he moved here with no friends, and he just instantly had a bunch of friends, and everybody loves him because he's just himself all the time. And so for a while, I just wasn't really myself, and therefore, when you want to talk to girls, you hit puberty. You're trying
Tough stage.
You're
Real
trying
tough stage.
so hard to not be awkward, and like, I don't know about you, but when I would hang out with girls at the beginning, dude, my heart rate would skyrocket.
Sweating.
I'm sweating, and I'm trying to think like, don't say this, don't say that, don't say that, don't say that.
Oh.
And as a result, I would just like not say much at all.
Yeah. Yep.
And if I would have just been myself, even if it was, because I think an issue that I have is like, the stuff that I think about and that I like to say is generally some weird shit.
Same here.
And that it thrives in this podcast environment now.
Sure. Yeah.
But when I was younger, if I was going out with this girl and I was like, hey, so do you think that people get turned into spaghetti when they go through black holes? Like,
she probably wouldn't be into it.
in my mind, I thought that she wouldn't be into it. Now,
If she's not into it, then she's not the right one.
exactly. I
Yeah.
guarantee there would have been some girls that would have been like, whoa, like, I don't know, maybe they
Oh
do
my
turn
God,
into
let's make
spaghetti.
out.
Yeah, so, yeah, and then eventually when I, like, got a girlfriend for the first time, that was when I realized, like, you be yourself, and generally things will work out better.
Yeah.
So
It's good advice.
that was the hardest part of when I was young. The hardest part of, like, that was the hardest part of the insecure days. The hardest part of, like, end of high school through college was... That was a question, right? The
hardest part of each stage.
The hardest part of, like, being in college was, like, being in a place that I didn't want to be, but also not wanting to drop out.
Yeah,
Because it's this...
my voice keeps cracking. Holy
It's
shit.
okay. It's kind of fitting for the 100th episode. You might as well voice crack a bunch.
Crack it up. Yep.
But yeah, I just think that I was at a spot where I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I also didn't want to drop out because I was like, what am I going to, like, if I drop out, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I don't, like, have a job waiting for me or anything, so.
I can't remember. What did you do between when you dropped out and when you got your job? Were you just applying to jobs?
Yeah, like, I was applying to full-time jobs before I even dropped out.
Oh, okay.
So I was planning on dropping out, and I was like applying and making as many connections as possible, hoping that, like, I was almost kind of using college as a waiting game. Like, I didn't even want to be there, but I was like, I should just stay enrolled until I get a job.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, fortunately, it was literally only
like a month, right?
like 3 weeks between when I dropped out and when I got a job. But, yeah, so I think just, like, being in a place you don't want to be is hard. And for me, I would recommend, I don't know, something that's made my life better and worked for me is, like, if you really truly despise something and hate something, like hate where you are or hate who you're with or whatever, don't, like, wait for months and months and months.
Yes.
Just, like, if you're generally almost always, my gut is right with a lot of things in life. And so just don't wait forever, because I felt like I almost waited for, like, 6 months just, like, hating everything. And I mean, I guess it sort of worked out, but like when I was in Texas and I wanted to quit my job, my family was trying to tell me, like, why don't you just wait it out for, like, another year? They're like, maybe you'll like it. I'm like, dude, I can't wait.
That's always
for a
parents'
year.
advice. Just wait it out.
Yeah, waiting it out doesn't work for me. It
Me neither.
truly doesn't.
It does not.
If I hate something, I gotta go right now.
Yeah.
And
I've waited things out and they didn't go well.
exactly. So, yeah. And then where we are now, the hardest part of right now is I think like remembering that the goal is possible. Because I think a lot of times, I don't know about you, but for me, I'll lose sight of the fact that like other successful podcasters and like internet content people, they were doing it for years.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't just like sprout out of nowhere.
Happen. Yeah.
And it requires consistency, like hard work. And a lot of times I feel like, oh, well, we only have X number of downloads a month or whatever, and we're not even close yet. But then I have to realize, one, we have like 5 times more listeners than we had when we started.
Technically infinity times because we had
Exactly.
0 at first.
Exactly.
So.
2, things are going to grow exponentially. So it's not like, oh, we gained 200 downloads from last month to this month. We're only going to gain 200 more. It's like eventually the whole idea is that it'll grow exponentially.
Right.
And it's just nice to remember that like everybody started somewhere. Everybody started at 0, and right now we're basically at 0.
Right. We're like 1.
Yeah, we're like
1.8 maybe.
1.8. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of
Okay.
That's kind of that.
Who would you say in each of these sections of your life, who would you say is somebody that you looked up to the most?
Ooh, I like these
In each
questions.
section. What can I say?
In the insecure days, Kevin Garnett and Dennis Rodman.
Okay.
If you guys don't know sports, they're basically just 2 like Hall of Fame basketball players, but they're both just known for kind of being
Gritty,
like just hustle players that maybe aren't the most skilled, but they're just like they'll outwork anybody.
Dennis Rodman especially.
Yeah, and Kevin Garnett was actually like pretty skilled.
Yeah. Very, very good.
He was like, he's not just a hustle player. He's really good. But
skill on top of hustle is why he was one of the best.
Yeah, and I really admired that. And there's like a couple of just specific videos I saw on YouTube that are like these 8-minute compilations of interviews of Kevin Garnett going like I'm not here to make friends. Like, my job is to stop you. And like, but like, it really stuck with me. And to this day, I'll sometimes go rewatch those videos and take aspects of that and apply them to my life now. That like, if you have a goal, like his goal was to be this beast basketball player. He's not there to try and like get people to like him. And so if people don't like you along the way, like, okay, that's fine. That's not what the goal is here. The goal is to be the best. And so I don't know. I found that really cool. And that type of stuff made me work way harder than I one thing that's super interesting, I can confidently say that I worked harder at like my quote unquote craft, which was like, I guess trying to like make better videos and videography. I worked harder in like my freshman year of college than I've ever worked at anything in my life. And I honestly don't think that I'll ever work like that hard again. Like
freshman year of college, what were you doing then?
Because like I was doing class, and then I was also every single week I was just like making videos, doing like video editing contests. I would email like 20 different companies a week about like basically cold calling them, saying like, hey, this is what I do. Here's my website. Like I'd love to do videos for you guys. And I just like, I didn't sleep freshman year, and I don't know, like I'm proud of that because it worked out. But at the same time, I don't think I'll ever be able to like get on that level again.
Hey, don't sell yourself short.
Yeah. So yeah, Kevin Garnett and Dennis Rodman.
What about after that?
After that, like high school through college, there was a big phase when Will Smith was a big inspiration. Will Smith and Jim Carrey. I kind of transitioned from like athletes to actors sort of, because it's mainly all based on videos that I've seen, but Will Smith is just really insightful, and I think he views the world the same way I do. And he was kind of saying, he has this really famous quote that's really controversial, but he says there's no reason to have a plan B because it distracts from plan A. And I've like heard a lot of mixed things, and I can see both sides. And a lot of people say that that's bad advice. Like, why would you encourage people to not have a plan B? Like, if you have a dream to be a basketball player, it's silly to not have a plan B because
not get your degree or something.
Yeah, because not everybody can become a basketball player. Yeah. But I think, and I mean, I get that, but I think his point was that, like, if you're set on doing this one thing with your life and you know that, like, that's all you want to do, if you commit 100% to that, I think he believes that, like, if you truly commit in your whole life to that, it will work out. Mm-hmm. Like destiny or whatever you want to call it will like find a way to make it happen if that's all you do and think about. Whereas if you kind of want to be like, do this one thing, but then you spend half your time working on your plan B, then you're probably taking time away from your plan A. So you're probably never going to be the best. And whether or not you think that's true, like, I think you could argue both, but I like to look at life through that perspective. So Will Smith for sure. And then now my biggest inspiration, honestly, like, probably Joe Santagato.
Really?
And for those of you who don't know who he is, he hosts like my favorite podcast. Kyle and I both listen to it, but I have followed Joe for a really long time. He kind of was like this viral YouTuber that was really big back when we were in high school. And he's only a few years older than us. And it's just, the reason I look up to him is because he's really smart about his career and how he's built this like studio and all these different like podcasts. And he's doing what he wants to do. And he's done it by himself, really, like out of his own house. And I honestly look up to people who are doing the type of stuff that I want to do. And he's doing exactly what I want to do. So, and like when I see what he's doing, it's proof to me that it is possible.
Right.
And if we stick with it, and it's also a nice reminder that like you can't just be consistent and hardworking at something. You also have to like be entertaining.
Yeah.
There's like a mix. Like if you're not good at something,
you're just not
good at it.
Right.
And if you just suck at basketball, it doesn't matter if you practice 10 hours a day.
Right.
You're just not going to make it. And I think he's like a really good example of someone who like works really, really hard, but also smart and like knows what goes viral, knows what's trendy. And he's really funny, but he's also has a good business sense. And yeah, if you guys like this podcast, I highly recommend The Basement Yard.
Yeah.
It's honestly what inspired me to want to start a podcast.
It was the first podcast I listened to.
Yeah, it's the first podcast I listened to and still one of the only podcasts I listened to. I only listen to like 3 or 4 different podcasts, but I've literally listened to every single episode of his podcast. And yeah, and one thing I've told Kyle that I think is just cool to share with you guys listening is we always have this segment where we talk about our dreams.
Yeah.
Like not aspirations, but
literal dreams
that we have. I've had a dream like 7 or 8 times that Kyle and I end up working alongside Joe Santagato.
Dude, that's sick.
And we like, because he has Santagato Studios, which is like his kind of production company or whatever you want to call it. His company that hosts 3 different podcasts that are all pretty big. They have The Basement Yard, they have The Stank, and they have Other People's Lives. And I keep having these dreams that we like end up working with him.
Dude,
and
that'd be sick.
Now, like, obviously I don't think dreams like predict the future, but
hey, some do.
Some do. And whether or not that happens, I just think it's like, that's proof to me, like, I truly care about what we're doing so much.
Yeah, you have it on your mind.
I'm having dreams about like doing it full time.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This is kind of my last question.
Okay.
What are some of the things, this doesn't necessarily need to be for each section, but I guess what are some of the like things that have changed your life or like changed how you look at your life? And I know you've probably talked about some of them and you probably aren't going to have a lot of things that changed your life in like 4th grade. But
Yeah. No, for
what are
sure.
some of the things that have like changed your life and made you get to where you are today?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm a good interviewer.
You're pretty good. I wish I had questions like yours. I feel like mine were too specific.
Bigger picture.
I like your questions. They're bigger picture. The things or people, is it people or just things or anything?
Could be events, could be people, could be
Okay.
whatever. Animals, I don't know.
Well, I mean, this is kind of later. I'll try and think of one from like when
Well, it doesn't
earlier.
necessarily matter. Just
But
any
one
point.
for sure was like when Connor died. Which obviously hit all of our friends really hard. For those of you who don't know, if you're just tuning in, we've talked about him quite a bit throughout the last 100 episodes, but Connor was our best friend, and he passed away after some complications after a surgery because he had testicular cancer. So he went in for a surgery. They thought the surgery was successful, and then afterwards there was complications, and he ended up dying that night. And yeah, that just like really, him dying really made me like much more appreciative and like live in the moment and realize that like to stop stressing about the future, because things are pretty good how they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, although I want to achieve these goals, like life is okay how it is.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn good. I got an awesome family. I have a bunch of really good friends. Like, I'm healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. I'm living in the best country in the world. I'm living in one of the best literally one of the best places in the world. There's not a lot of crime here. Like, so I guess when
Someone got murdered on my street though.
someone on your street killed their grandparents with a shovel.
No, that was what I'm talking about. No, it wasn't his grandparents. No. We'll move on from that. There was a shovel murder though.
There was a shovel murder for sure. But yeah, I just think it reminded me to like, one, tell the people that you care about them.
Definitely.
Two, to not, if you like want to say something, whether it's good or bad or like harsh or not an easy conversation, just say it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd rather have said it
then regret not saying it
and then they die.
Right.
Now, thankfully, I told Connor everything I wanted to tell him. Like it's not like I was like, oh, I fucking hate you and had some grudge and then he died. Like we all had a really good relationship when he passed, so I don't like regret much. But yeah, it's just tell people that you care about them and stuff like that. And then I guess, wait, what was the original question?
What are some things that have like changed your life?
Oh, yeah. So the last one I'll say here before we kind of wrap it up is like, when I got my first job, I've said it before, but when I got hired as like a full-time job where I'm like truly was in the real world, like
You were a real person.
I was like a real person. I got my own apartment. I was living on my own in a different state, like doing my thing. And when I remember the feeling, like when I walked to my apartment the first night, I had no
furniture.
No furniture. I had literally nothing in there, and it was so late that I didn't have time to go like buy an air mattress or anything because it was like midnight, so every place was closed. So I slept. I got all my clothes and I dumped them on the floor, and I slept on like, because it was hardwood floor, so I didn't want to sleep on the hardwood. So I got all my sweatshirts and like hoodies and threw them on the floor and just slept in a pile of clothes.
Hey, that's pretty. Hey.
And it was like this. It was shitty because I didn't sleep very well, but it was this cool moment where I told myself that like this was proof that if I wanted to do something and I worked hard enough at it, I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had made a goal, like I'm going to get hired as a videographer in esports. Like I'm going to do this. And then I worked really hard and for like a year and a half, and I emailed people, and I'd been making videos since high school, and then it happened. And I think that gave me like some sort of advantage in life just over other people, because I think a lot of people maybe don't experience that until they're out of college
Mm-hmm.
and like got a job when they're like 22 or 23 or whatever. But I was 20 and I dropped out. So it was like, okay, this is probably a little rare to like drop out and then get this job that I dreamed of, really. Now, obviously, it didn't really turn out. I didn't end up loving it. But the fact that, like,
You got it.
I wanted something, I worked hard, I didn't stop, and I got it.
So it's like proof to you that you can do it.
It's proof that I can, like, replicate that again. So I was like, okay, now if I want to apply that to, for example, this podcast, this truly is, I have more passion for this podcast than anything I've ever done before, honestly. And so if we were just to do it for like 6 months and then we get discouraged and we feel like, oh, it's not growing how we thought it would, it's getting hard, I need to, like, I'm tired because I worked and now I got to edit or whatever. Like, that's the thing that I have a true belief that, like, people will work hard at something and then not achieve it and then go do something else. And they're like, oh, well, it just, like, it didn't work out for me.
Mm-hmm. It's because you didn't work hard enough to get, or like work through the tough parts.
Yeah, it's because, like, you quit at the point when, like, of course it's not going to work out because you ended up you stopped doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were to keep doing it for that really long, shitty period of time where you're losing money on it, you're spending so much time on it, if that's the part that you can grind through, I like to believe that that's when things go up and, like, get bigger and better.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people just, understandably so, but they're just not really willing to go through that.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, I want you guys to know, the listeners, that Kyle and I are going to stick through this.
Yeah. Wait, one thing I want to add off of that.
Yeah.
Is, yeah, like you were saying, there's times where you have a lot of highs and a lot of lows during, like, this kind of process. And there's definitely a lot of highs for me. And there's times where I'm, like, tired or, like, I don't feel like recording or I'm running out of ideas, I think.
Yeah.
And there's times where I'm like, oh, like, is this even worth it? And when I force myself to push through it and just say, like, I know this will be worth it, then I get to the highs. Like, I'm in a high right now.
Yeah.
Like, these last couple of episodes we've recorded, and it's, like, so much more worth it when you get through a low and get to a high than it is to just quit during a low and try to focus on something else.
Exactly. That I 100% agree. And that's it's a really good feeling.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, young people at least, probably haven't experienced that, like high schoolers and stuff. But when you, like, with this podcast, there's a lot of times, there's certain weeks where I'm super inspired and I'm like, damn, our numbers are up.
Yeah.
We got a lot of comments on Instagram. Like, people are really liking these clips. That episode was a banger, blah, blah, blah. But then there will be, like, certain weeks when things just go down. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, instantly my mind subconsciously is, like, less motivated. I'm like, I don't want to edit this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to spend 3 hours editing this and, like, 40 people are going to see it. Mm-hmm. Is that worth, like, is it literally worth 3 hours of my life for 40 people?
Yeah.
Like, 10 of them being my friends. And at times I'm like, no, that doesn't matter. But then, like, I'll feel shitty for, like, a week or 2 weeks. But then if you stick with it, then you see another burst. Mm-hmm. And then you get, dude, messages from strangers on Instagram.
Yeah,
might
awesome.
be the most motivating factor.
Totally.
And so then you'll get more messages. And then it's like, wow, it maybe was just a random low week. It's not that the episodes were worse. It's not that we're doing worse. It's just
maybe people are busy and they're not listening to it.
Yeah. And then maybe the next week they're not busy, so they catch up on, like, 5 episodes.
There you go. But that's just a lot of things, even with life too. Like, you'll have points in your life where you're sad, maybe you're going through a hard time, and it's sometimes some people want to just give up.
Yeah.
And, like, I've had points in my life where I'm just, like, so low that I just don't even want to do anything. Yeah. And then when you make it through that and get to a point where you're happy with what you're doing and you're happy with where you are, it's so much more rewarding than anything.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, at that point, I don't know. I don't have much else to say. Yeah, I just want to truly, like, on the Thanksgiving episode, Kyle and I said what we're thankful for, and we're thankful for this podcast. But with this being episode 100, I don't want to make it too dramatic, like it's the end and the start of something new, because it's really not.
No,
it's
we'll
just
the same shit.
There you go.
It's
just a checkpoint, really. But it's cool, because after episode 10, I told Kyle, I'm like, dude, we already did 10 episodes. We only got to do this 9 more times.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
We've done 100. We just have to do it. Well, I don't know how many episodes we'll be famous at, but 9 more times.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't even care if we get like quote unquote famous. If we could just make enough money where we could just like pay rent.
I'm only in this for the money.
But yeah. So I just want to thank you guys for all the support. Honestly, this podcast has been so fun. Even if we don't make a living off of it, like just doing this. Yeah. I love this. Having the Peak to Middle School YouTube channel, it's like a milestone of just like gems, you know? Like if I randomly die, let's say I have kids and I die.
Okay.
I want them to be able to, it's so cool that they can just watch me talk for hours and like learn who I was.
Like, wow, my dad was fucking weird.
Like what the fuck did they talk about? Ass and
God.
Dick so much. But
shit.
Yeah, so thank you all so much.
From the bottom of our hearts.
From the bottom of our hearts.
We love you.
And our dicks.
The bottom? What part's the bottom?
Like the part with the vein.
Oh, okay.
Or like the
underneath.
The tube.
All right.
Yeah.
From the tubes of
our dick. But yeah, so if you guys are supporters of our show, the biggest thing that you could ever do to help us reach our dreams is just tell people. Yeah. Just spread the word. Tell your friends or put us on your Instagram story or comment. Even just, literally just commenting and liking on stuff. It helps so much and it means a lot to us. So with all that being said, Kyle, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram at KyleSafford36. You can follow us on What am I saying? Wow. I'm like in this weird zone of this is our second podcast today.
We've literally talked we've stared at each other for over 3 hours today.
Oh god, I'm like running on fumes right now. If you want to follow the podcast at PIMS Podcast on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. Yep. I almost said Twitch. I don't know why. Yeah, we post clips. We love when you guys comment, like John was saying. We love when you comment. We love when you send us messages and just let us know what you liked, what you'd like to see, any of that shit. Yeah. John, what do you got?
You can follow me at Hey Narwhal on Twitter and Instagram. You can also subscribe to my personal YouTube channel called The Narwhal. There are new episodes of Peak to Middle School every single Monday and Thursday. We're going to continue that for 2020. We're going to be starting next episode. We'll be starting kind of what we're going to be calling season 3 of the show. So we'll have some new segments, some new fun things for you guys. So
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Lastly, if you want to become a patron, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/PIMS podcast. You guys can pledge a little bit of money and you get extra content in return. It's really cool.
It's worth it.
We don't ever expect you guys to do it, but if you want to check it out, you want some extra content, be sure to go check that out.
If you want to be our favorites.
Yeah, you can get pictures of Kyle's feet. So what more do you ask for?
Exactly.
With all that being said, thank you all so much for listening. We will see you guys next time. Bye.
See you next year. Oh, wait, it's already next year. Fuck.